Peter Eliades with you again, Stock Market Cycles Update. Perhaps we should pause for a minute or two here and let you know what we're doing, those of the very few of you that have been watching these updates. We have not advertised this at all. We have not even told our own readers of our reports about this. We did a couple of months ago say we were going to do it, but they're not specifically aware of it. So if you take a look, in fact, at some of the YouTube recordings we have on there, you'll see 4 or 5 views or whatever and think, my goodness, there's no one at all watching them. And that's basically true. There is no one watching these. We're doing this kind of as a practice thing for ourselves because we want to do it as introduction to our spectacular new projection software that's coming out. We think the very few of you that have been watching these on any kind of regular basis must have been impressed so far with the accuracy of the projections we've come up with so far. So just a little background to let you know that's what we're doing. These free updates will carry on for the foreseeable future, but ultimately they won't end up being free. We're going to do them as part of kind of an ancillary part to the software that we are going to market. We hope that you become interested in it. And that much having been said, let's take a look at some of today's charts. Excuse me, this first chart, the first chart we're looking at, this is again on a 27-minute chart, one of our short-term charts, the one that gave us the projection up to 29.32.25. Actually, the projection called for just under that. 29.31.78 was the high end of that projection. Over the past 2 days, the high reading was 29.32.25. Mind you, we gave that projection down here when the S&P was, I think we'd closed that particular bar around 28.91. So the projection was given significantly higher than where it was when we gave you the projections, and ultimately reached that projection within 1 point, reaching the upper side of that projection. Now, of course, the question becomes, where are we in terms of what's happened in the last day or so? Well, take a look at this chart. Prices crossed below the red offset line, and in so doing gave a preliminary projection to 28.86.25. We say preliminary because until the prices move below both of the offset lines, projection is not confirmed. As you can see, this blue offset line right here is very, very close to being penetrated. Any kind of sideways to down move in the first half hour tomorrow will confirm that projection and give the range of projections will be indeed lower than this 28.86.25. That will mean there's a projection at least down to that number, and it could be lower. So that's something we're going to be watching for. In the first half hour of trading tomorrow, we should know whether we have a confirmed projection to the downside or not. That much having been said, I'd like to take a look at some of the daily projections on a closing basis. This is the S&P cash. Again, for those of you unfamiliar with the symbol $INX, that's one of the 2 symbols you can use on TradeStation for getting the S&P cash index. Now, this is quite interesting what happens here. The dark blue line is the closing prices of the S&P. The red line it's not the initial offset because that's actually 3 spaces offset to the right. Excuse me. And it needs to be 3.5. That's where the spectacular work of our programmer came in, because everyone told me, well, we can't do half span offsets or 3.5 or 3.6. We can't do fractional offsets with on Windows or whatever their excuse was. And indeed, I found someone who could do that, my little programming wizard, Stefan Scherman from Switzerland. But I put these up there because some of the fractional offsets get a little busy on the screen, and I wanted you to take a look at this and see how this was fitting into what we saw. Notice that This gray line is a 4-period offset. So we can say that that 4-period offset was broken above right here. And the preliminary projection that was given on that breakthrough called for a move, a closing price of at least 29.2690. Now, mind you, that projection was not confirmed. It theoretically has been confirmed as of today because this is the close today and it's above both of the offset lines. So we actually have a projection that should carry to 29.2690 to as high as 3,670. Here's the interesting part though. Yesterday's close right here was 29.2365, within just 3 points of the minimum upside projection. That's close enough, as some might say, for military work. I got a military man very angry at me once when I said that. But anyway, the 29.2365 was very close to the projection that would be given from across of this offset above. So we can argue that that actually satisfied this upside projection. So if that's the case, then we look at the next longer upside projection. These are 7 to 8 day offsets, and as you can see here, there's nothing much going on at all. You got projections down here perhaps that would have been met here, but now we're below both the 7 and the 8 day offsets at today's close, so there's no promise of any upside there. The next offset would be this one here, which is 12.1 to 13.8 days, and that's for the nominal 5-week offset. And look at that. We have not gone above that. So the fact that we met one projection, there's nothing given with the second and nothing given yet with the third. In terms of this one, as you can see, an upside close tomorrow would almost certainly give a preliminary upside projection into this area of the recent highs. But we don't have that yet, so there's nothing to hang your hat on now in terms of a bullish projection to the upside. Let's go to the next longer offsets. These are nominal 10-week projections. And as you can see, the projection was given already to this area down here, and we've had closes, several closes, 1, 2, 3, in the projection zone for these downside projections. There is a projection in the lower part of the projection zone down to 28.0170. So without generating lower projections, we could move down to that area and still be within the projection window. One more look at the next longer one. This is for the nominal 20-week projection. And this is interesting too, because look how close we are in terms of generating perhaps at least a preliminary downside projection that would be measured by this high up here. So if we go below this red line, we would get a preliminary projection for, very roughly speaking, 1/2, 1.5, 2.5, almost 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3, down in the area of 2,700, 27, 20, 30, 40. That would happen with any kind of a down close tomorrow below 28.90. So that's a number to be watching for tomorrow. Let's go to the nominal 40-week projections. That would be the next longer one also. And look what's happening here. Here's the close right here. So let's make it a little more clear and take some of these other lines away. These are the closing prices right here. And look how close we are to generating at least a preliminary downside projection there. So we're in an important area for the market averages here, as evidenced by the S&P readings that we're showing you. The next day or two could be very interesting. We could make a continuing argument for a decline here, but it's not high confidence yet. Should we start getting below some of these other offset lines, then we'd have a much higher confidence projection to the downside. We don't have those as yet, although I would say at this point, the evidence leads us to think that we may be getting a downside resolution. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. We'll be back again hopefully tomorrow.